Surfing the internet.
I'll tell you all about it coming up a little bit after 9 o'clock. Welcome to the weekend and welcome to America's most listened to radio station.
More music. 2017. New York. Mr. 70s on the Totally 70s Radio Network. Oh, DeMarco, it's Friday. Excellent. Number one. Right on.
Music radio, Totally 70s, America's number one choice. I knew I forgot something. I knew it. It was just a simple informality on my end, but I apologize. I really do. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the show. This is the Totally 70s Radio Network. You knew that. It's 8 minutes after 9 o'clock. Mr. 70s with you here. And hey, we got some great stuff coming up for you. Let me take a look at the musical menu here. Let me see what I put together for you guys. All right. Now, we played a song beginning with the letter A, which means coming up next, we will play a song with the letter B and C and D and so on and so forth. That doesn't mean anything. Squat. That's just how I put things together tonight. But we do have some great music on the way. Paul McCartney, Olivia Newton-John, Queen, The Fortunes, Jim Croce, Radio, ABBA, just to name a few. And that's not all. There's always more. We have chances for you to be a winner tonight and a $25 gift card from your friends at Amazon.com and the Totally 70s Radio Network. It's a Make the Connection, and I think, in my own personal opinion, a rather simple one, but we will let you decide on whether you think it's difficult, intermediate, or absolutely impossible. Could be anybody's guess. And coming up later on tonight, we've got a really cool weeknight spotlight. Actually, it was kind of a really dreary and cold day here in New York. And, you know, when you're on vacation and you really don't have to go out to do anything, it's one of those days where you just kind of sit around at home and you be creative. And tonight I decided to do something I've never done before. Actually, Don Edwards made a mention of this about a week and a half ago. We were talking, and I decided tonight to put together a very special weeknight spotlight. We're talking about album rock from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Oh, you like records? You will be hearing a whole bunch of them tonight. I don't think we're going to fit them all in an hour. We're probably going to do OT on the spotlight, but we got great artists like Aerosmith, the Beatles, the Cars, the Eagles, Fleetwood Mac, Jefferson Starship, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin. Yes, you heard it. We've got it all coming up on tonight's weeknight spotlight. Album rock of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, done on nothing but vinyl LPs. It's going to sound fantastic. At least I hope it is. And that's just part of what we're going to be doing tonight. We'll open up those request lines and Skype lines too, to contribute to your delinquency and mine, of course, and just going to have a whole lot of fun. So, gals, the weekend is here. Gentlemen, the weekend is here. It's time for the ladies to scream in my ear, just like they do here every weekend on Totally 70s, and let's just hope I stuck the right cartridge in the right deck here. And ladies, go ahead and scream your thing.
Finally, Friday! Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday.
Yep.
It's Friday.
Yep.
It's Friday. Oh, work son.
Yeah.
Thank God it's Friday. America's number one choice. The 70s sound. We're totally 70s. With the best musical weekend. Mr. 70s on the Totally 70s Radio Network.
Music radio, Totally 70s, America's number one. Paul McCartney and Wings 74 helps you remember that one. Yeah.
Stop music, commercial free, Totally 70s.
I certainly do love that record. Weekend weather, cloudy, snow for the overnight, a low near 10. Some of those wind chills could actually make it feel like -5 below zero. Not a good night for going out on a boat. More snow for Saturday with a high near 20. 28 in New York with John Denver.
Sail on a dream on a crystal clear ocean.
America's number one choice for better music on the World Wide Web. The Totally 70s Radio Network.
This is David Bowie.
This is Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. This is Lionel Richie.
Flashback.
Totally 70s.
Music Radio. Totally 70s back in 1979. The LP was entitled Totally Hot. And she was just at that. Olivia Newton-John and Deeper Than the Light right here on America's number one. It's 9:23. It's Mr. 70s on the radio. If you're over there on the Vaughn Live app, I received word from Mark Vaughn a little bit earlier today in regards to what's going on here, and it seems that Vaughn has got its own bunch of issues. So if you follow Mark Vaughn over on Facebook or any of the other social media platforms that he's on, go take a look at what he said. He's having some problems with, I don't know, it's technical stuff like ingest servers and things that I have absolutely no idea. I just know things are broken. That's it.
Totally.
But they are not broken here. So if you go to the My Tutor application, you want to hear what we sound like, put it on, click on Totally 70s and play it loud and proud and share it with the neighborhood. Here's Carl Carlton.
Hearts go astray.
You're jamming with the sounds of Mr. 70s. It's Flashback. Is that a banana in your pocket?
You ever seen a grown man naked?
Or are you just happy to hear us?
Totally 70s.
Oh, you gonna take me home tonight? Oh, down beside that red firelight.
Music Radio, Totally 70s, America's number one choice. You know, Bill, I got to tell you, and I'm not talking about Mr. Bill, I'm talking about Dark Jackal. Every once in a while, I catch some stuff out in the chat room that's going on, not really behind my back, but kind of alongside where I don't catch things. And I got to tell you, man, you definitely wowed me with that tonight. Now, the phone is ringing, and I should probably answer it. Let's see who this is here. All right, hang on. Hi, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hi, this is Lori.
What are you doing, Lori?
I'm watching the show because I am falling in love with it.
Okay, cool. Well, listen, don't say anything nasty because we're live on the air right now, okay?
Okay.
You're on live, so turn down your radio.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Down my radio.
Go turn down your radio. Okay, come on back. All right, cool.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. So what's going on over in Wappingers? Did you guys get any snow yet, or you're still waiting around for it?
We're still kind of waiting to see what happens.
All right, cool. All right, what can I do for you tonight?
I was hoping that you are taking requests.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to hear I Go Crazy.
Wow. Okay, well, here's what we got right now. We got great news for you. Now, I know you didn't even realize this, but from the time I started my show with a song with A in the title. Then I went B, C, D. I'm all the way down. I'm at Grease, which means you're 2 songs away from I Go Crazy. All right?
I know.
That's what we're doing right now. And Cindy is in the chat room, and you're not in the chat room, so you can't see Cindy. But if you could see Cindy, she'd be going, oh, wow, right about now, because Grease is not only playing, it's playing on vinyl tonight. We'll get to your Paul Davis momentarily, and thank you, Lori, for listening to America's number one. You got it on 70s.
I saw my problems and I see the light.
There's always a better song right here on Music Radio, Totally 70s. It's America's number one choice. Grease is the word that you've heard in probably 500,000 times by now, but it still sounds great here on Totally 70s. It's 25 minutes before 10. Rob Brown, is that really you on the line? Hi?
Yes, it is.
Okay, is everything okay over there?
Yep.
Okay, how's Mom doing? She's good?
She's doing better. Yep.
Good. Now, you kind of caught on to what we're doing here, yes? A little bit?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Now I got some good news and I got some better news.
What's that?
The good news is that if I'm doing my alphabetizing the right way, we are now up to H.
Yep.
Okay. Now the even better news. You know what I'm going to say, right?
Yeah, what's that?
I'm going to say you can't have H because I want H. Okay? And you can't have I because Lori took I, which means you get a choice. You get J or K.
I'll take K.
Okay, what do you have in mind?
Knock 3 times.
I just did. That was really not very nice, Mr. DeMarco. And I probably would normally get fired, but I will try to play that for you, Robbie. Thank you. And that's payback for all the times I asked you what your favorite radio station was, and you ignored me, or you said some other crazy radio station that doesn't exist anymore. It's 9:37. My name is Paul DeMarco, and you are tuned in and turned on to America's Most Listened To. This is the Totally 70s Radio Network.
Here comes that rainy day feeling again.
Music Radio, Totally 70s. Well, that rainy day feeling may not be coming anytime soon, but weatherman says cloudy and snow for the overnight, a low around 10, and those wind chills could actually bring the temps down to about -5 below. More snow on the way for Saturday with highs in the 20s, and Saturday night becoming clear and cold with a low near 5 degrees. Last look in New York, cloudy skies at 27 with Paul Davis.
Hello, girl, it's been a while.
Music Radio, Totally 70s. We tell you all the time you can listen to the same song on any other radio station. You come over here, and it always sounds just so much better. Paul Davis memories from 1978 on America's #1.
Totally 70s.
For fun. That's right. And you know, weekends are fun too. Every Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, it's American Top 40 with Casey Kasem. Don't forget, this weekend, Casey will be counting down the music of January 30th. 1982 was a heck of a great year for music, and you will be hearing all of that 3 o'clock Eastern Time on Sunday with Casey Kasem's American Top 40, heard exclusively here on America's #1 choice for better music. You've got the Totally 70s Radio Network. We are up to the letter J with Jack and Jill. Here's Ray Parker Jr. and Radio.
We've got so many great songs from the 70s and 80s that we had to knock a wall out just to fit them all in. This is Flashback with Mr. 70s.
Hey, girl, what you doing down there?
Totally 70s, America's #1 choice for better music, whether it's the 70s, the 80s, or even a few great songs of the 60s. There you have it, Rob Brown. Knocked 3 times, just like this. Ready? See? Just like that. Hello? Hi, you're on Totally 70s. You there? Hi, Jeanette.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
You're not good because you can't get in the chat room, so you're not good, right? Okay.
Right.
Listen, I've got over, let me take a look here. I've got over 100 chatters in this chat room that say they want Jeanette to come in, okay? So you have to figure this out. Go to Vaughn Live's main page, and there'll be a spot where you sign up. And what you have to do is leave a legitimate email, and when you do, they will give you the email confirmation, and then you're free and clear to go in. Just make sure whatever email you use is a legit one and one that you use on a regular basis, okay?
Okay.
That's all you need to do. And now, are you listening over on the MyTuner app, or you're listening on Vaughn, you're just not in the chat room?
I'm listening on Vaughn. I'm not in the chat room.
Okay. Everything sounds all right?
Yeah, it sounds perfect.
Okay.
Sounds like you're next door.
Good. That's the whole idea behind it. Okay, so we'll see you in chat room in a couple of minutes, and stick around. Coming up in the 10 o'clock hour, chances for you to win a $25 gift card from your friends at Amazon.com, and of course, your 70 station. It's all coming up here, so stick around for that. Music Radio, Totally 70s, America's #1 choice, and Sweden's finest. They go by the name of ABBA. Bjorn, Benny, Anna, and Frida. I think I said that right. 1977, and knowing me, knowing you, it's 9:56, 4 minutes away from 10 o'clock, along with Mr. 70s. And thanks for joining us. I see Ken Hurst just got in the chat room a few minutes ago, and Jeanette finally made her way in there. And the rest of you, thanks for being here. My buddy Mike Lettieri's over on Facebook, watching very carefully that I don't make some sort of crucial mistake, and I will not, I can promise you. And also want to say hi to my buddy Joe Dutzar. He's up there somewhere around the Connecticut, Massachusetts state line. Joe, whatever city you may be in, Enfield, or wherever you may be tonight, thanks for joining us here on Totally 70s. We got some great music coming up. Want to remind everybody, coming up at 11:30 Eastern Time, it's the album rock of the 60s, 70s, and 80s on the Spotlight. Your favorite LPs, stacks of wax, nothing but vinyl, Aerosmith, Boston, the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, you name it, we've got it for you tonight on the Spotlight. You do not want to miss a moment of that weeknight Spotlight here at the Totally 70s Radio Network. What you may want to miss is your weekend weather forecast. I find these areas to be kind of the deathly ones unless you're out there on the coast, because apparently, according to the National Weather Service, there is a coastal storm heading our way, and if you're out there on the coast, I am praying for you guys, because according to the weatherman, you're going to get a whole lot of snow, a lot more than we're going to be getting here. Cloudy and snow for our overnight, lows around 10, and those wind chills could actually bring things down to make it feel like about -5 below zero. More snow on the way for tomorrow with a high around 20. That's fine. I do not have to go out any place. I can stay home and watch it come down. Tomorrow night, the skies are going to clear up, but it's going to get really cold. Lows around 5 degrees. Wind chills might bring it down to around 0 or maybe even 5 below. And for Sunday, sunny and a bit warmer and a high around 30. Not so bad. Right now in New York, cloudy skies and 26 at Totally 70s.
The best music.
Oh, yes.
Totally.
It certainly is. And right now, we've got music from the Bellamy Brothers. 1976 hit music on your 70s station.
There's a reason.
Music Radio, Totally 70s, America's number one choice with the Bellamy Brothers. Big number one back in 1976, song called Let Your Love Flow. And gang, I just want to let you know, if you just get in the door here wondering what's going on, I started the show off with a song with the letter A, and I've been going right down the line, A, B, C, D, all the way down to, we are now in the L's, ready to approach the M's. And not that you give a crap about that, but the good news is we're coming up to the 10 o'clock hour, and we got chances for you to win tonight. And when I tell you that I put together a Make the Connection that I think you're going to be able to get, if you are one of those guys or gals that was really big into 70s music back in the day, well, guess what? You're going to win tonight. You're going to win. You're going to win. I know you're going to win. I have faith in you. I do. Oh, yes. A little bit after 10 o'clock. My name is Mr. 70s, and there is always a better song right here on Music Radio, Totally 70s.
More music. Totally 70s. New York.
Oh, yes, as we get wasted away on a Friday to some of the best music ever made right here on Music Radio. It's Totally 70s, and as Carly said, nobody does it better. Here she is in stereo at Totally 70s.
Nobody does it better.
Music Radio, Totally 70s, some movie music from 1977, The Spy Who Loved Me, and Carly Simon's Nobody Does It Better. Here on America's number one choice. It's 10 minutes after 10 o'clock. And did I promise you guys a contest in the 10 o'clock hour? I think I did. All right, we got to Make the Connection contest, and your chance to win a $25 gift card from your friends at Amazon.com. This Make the Connection that we have going on here is probably something that if you were a big radio listener back in the mid to late 70s, you definitely can probably put this thing together and figure out exactly what it is. And what we're talking basically is, if you haven't played Make the Connection before, we're going to play a song montage, and you have to tell me the connection between the songs. It's as simple as that. Now, there are a couple of rules. If you haven't won from us in 30 days, you, my friend, can be a qualifier and can be a winner. If you have won within 30 days, you can sit back and sit on your hands. And please do not belt out any answers in the chat room. Don't private message anybody. Just sit there and say nothing, okay? Now listen carefully. We're going to play that song montage for you. Let us know if you can make the connection. If you can, studio lines here are 845-454-6862. And we can make you our next winner.
I will, I will, I will. Like a rhinestone cowboy. Get your baby one of these nights. Cat talking. Big boys don't cry. Big boys don't cry. Wouldn't you give your hand
Now, remember, you don't need to know the title and the artist of the songs. That's not what the contest is about. It's about making the connection between those songs. I know they all came out in 1975. That is not what we're looking for. So if you're going to call up and tell me they all came out in 75, yes, they did, but that's not what we're looking for. Once again, the telephone number here is 845-454-6862. Dial carefully, and good luck.
Music radio, totally 70s.
Well, it was back in the day when Marty Ballin was leading the way with Jefferson Starship, and the song is called Runaway, right here on America's #1. You got the Totally 70s Radio Network. It's 25 minutes before 11 o'clock, along with Paul DeMarco, you, me, and the music until 1 a.m., and I do believe DJ Plasma will be coming our way and gracing the microphone, back in the saddle again with the After Dark Party at 1 a.m. If you have insomnia and you want to stay up and listen, this is definitely the show to check out. Now, moments ago, we played our song montage, and to make the connection, let's play it one last time here.
I will, like a rhinestone cowboy. Get your baby one of these nights. Cat talking, big boys don't cry. Big boys don't cry. Wouldn't you give your hand to a friend?
All right, we got Lori Snyder on the phone from Wappingers Falls, New York. Lori, you there?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's Lori Gordon from Columbus, Ohio.
Lori Gordon from Columbus, Ohio, a.k.a. Lori Schneider from Hooterville. All right, cool. Cool, we got it. All right. That's perfectly... You know, Hooterville is no longer Houstonville. Now Hooterville is actually Campbell Hall. But I didn't think you'd know that. And just so you know, Montgomery is Petticoat Junction now. So, yeah, just filling you in. Okay, so we played the montage. I need to know what the connection is. Do you think you know what it is?
I think I do.
Go ahead.
My husband helped me with this one. They all were in the song Mr. Jaws by Dickie Goodman.
Wait a second. Is your husband there?
He is.
Put him on for a minute.
Okay, let me put him
Sure.
on.
You put him on real quick here.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for calling, by the way, and thanks for partaking in tonight's contest. Now, I'm just dead curious here. How in the world did you come up with that?
Man, that was like one of my favorite songs when I was a kid. I used to listen to it for Casey Kasem's Billboard Charts 100 on Sundays, man, and would just wait for that song to come on. I loved it.
You know, I got to tell you, I was probably in the 7th grade, and I was on my way to Great Adventure Amusement Park when they had first opened it, and it was me and 2 other friends of mine driving in my dad's Corvair, and that stinking thing came on, and I thought to myself, this thing is going to be bigger than life. They were actually debuting it on probably like WABC or WNBC, and we happened to be listening to the radio, and I thought to myself, this thing's going to be big. And sure enough, it was actually one of Dickie Goodman's biggest. Are we looking for Mr. Jaws?
Wow!
Yes!
We have a winner!
We are! All right, put your wife back on.
All right, hold on just a second.
Okay, so quick question. How long have you actually been listening to this radio station now? About 2 weeks?
Yes.
All right, and we already made you a winner. Congratulations. You got a $25 gift card from Amazon. But listen, this is what you need to do. What we're going to do is we're going to send this through via email. So I need you to... do you have my email address over there?
I don't, but I'll take it down.
Okay, it's M as in Michael, R as in Richard, the number 7, the number 0, and the letter S. It looks like MR70s at Verizon.net.
Okay.
As soon as you send over a confirmation that says, "Hi, Paul, it's Lori, and I won," we'll get that over to you as soon as possible, okay?
Excellent.
All right. Hey, listen, thank you so much for playing. We got more prizes, more chances for you to be a winner. You keep it right here at America's #1 choice for the best music. Oh, and did I mention the most prizes, too? It's the Totally 70s Radio Network. Oh, my God. Mr. Jaws, Mr. Jaws, Mr. Jaws.
We're here on the beach where a giant shark has just eaten a girl swimmer.
And there you have it, tonight's Make the Connection. The year was 1975, and that Mr. Jaws little novelty record was up and down the AM dial in style. And congratulations, Lori. Out there in Wappingers Falls, you got the $25 gift card from Amazon.com. Courtesy of your friends here at Totally 70s. We got more prizes, more chances for you to be a winner. And at 11:30 tonight, it's an Album Rock Weeknight Spotlight. Your favorite albums from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. It's all coming up right here on your 70s station.
You got me looking at that heaven in your eyes.
Music Radio. Totally 70s is America's #1 choice for the best music variety. And a big #1 back in 1978 belongs to young Andy Gibb and Shadow Dancing.
The best music. Totally.
It's about 15 minutes before 11 o'clock. We got Mark 1956 on the line. It's so nice to hear your voice tonight, Mark. Thanks for calling.
What's going on? I have to say to everybody in the chat room, good evening, good evening, good evening.
Yeah, and you said a very special happy birthday to the missus. She's actually listening.
Happy birthday to Donna in front of everybody in the chat room.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, there you go. See that?
And I got to also say that the music is exceptionally good tonight.
I really appreciate that. Thanks so much. Everything sounds okay on your end tonight?
The audio is perfect.
Now,
don't change it.
I don't change anything. I promise I won't. Hey, listen, you think it sounds good now. Wait till we break out the albums later. I don't know if you looked over here on my left, but I stacked up all the LPs that we're going to be playing tonight here. We're probably going to add a few as we go along, but we got quite the selection, Mark. You're going to want to stick around for that, okay?
Yeah, you should go through the ones that I gave you a couple of years ago.
I have those too, believe me. I've got everybody's albums. It's funny because I still talk with my friend Brian Gerosa over at Gerosa Records in Brookfield, Connecticut. If you're ever over in the Connecticut area, you want to check out a really great record store.
I've been there with you.
You have, yeah. Well, he's still in business, and he's, obviously he's getting a lot of new vinyl. But, we had a conversation a while back when vinyl started making its way to the shelves again. And I looked at him and I said, hey, Brian, aren't you kicking yourself in the ass for taking all those albums and selling them for $1 a piece over at the Stormville Flea Market years ago? And he just shook his head and looked at me with a smile and he's like, we had no idea they were going to make their way back the way that they did. But they did, and they're back, and that's wonderful. And I'm psyched.
And I've got a lot of vinyl to get rid of because my mom has been bitching at me to get rid of the 45s in the closet.
Okay, well, listen, I'll tell you what. If you want to drop them off over at my place, over at my mom's, I've got a nice little spot over there for them. Okay.
Yeah, there's 2 boxes full.
Okay, listen, Mark, you never know. You may want them back someday, right? You just might.
Yeah, that's if I get a turntable, which I probably won't.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe Santa will bring you one next year, right? We'll just wait.
I doubt that very much.
Hey, listen, Mark, I appreciate the phone call. Tell everybody what your favorite station is.
It's Totally 70.
Music Radio, Totally 70s, America's #1 choice with the Hollies from 1974. And The Air That I Breathe should be germ-free, the way everybody's walking around with masks on still. 9 minutes before 11 o'clock here at Totally 70s. Darren Myers just came in the chat room. Hi, Darren. How are you, sir? Thanks for joining us. And we've got a full house over on the Vaughn Live side. If you're listening over on Facebook, I probably got muted by now. That's a common thing over there, and usually by around 11 o'clock, I finally give up. But if you're over there on the MyTuner application, if you're over there on Facebook, you're over on Vaughn Live or Totally70s.com, thanks for joining us tonight here at Totally 70s. Now, if you're just getting in the door, I started my show with a song title beginning with the letter A, and so far I have not busted the alphabet. We just got down to T, which was The Air That I Breathe, and I do have to say that when I got down to the letter U and down to the letter Z, I had some difficulty, but lo and behold, I actually found something with you. You, like use me. And actually, this is a catchy little tune from way back when. Here's Bill Withers and Use Me right here on America's #1 choice. It's Totally 70s.
My friend.
Such a cool cat back in the early 70s right there. The late, great Bill Withers and Use Me on America's #1
Music Radio.
It's the Totally 70s Radio Network. About 4 minutes before 11 o'clock, and we've got our buddy from Nelsonville, British Columbia, hanging out on the line tonight. Thumpo-matic. How are you, my friend?
I'm
Very good, my friend. How are you?
Good.
Like I said to you off air, I wouldn't want to be in Ottawa, Ontario right now.
You guys are going to get blasted. We got a coastal storm going to be coming up our way, but it's not going to miss us, but we're not going to be getting the brunt of the storm. So we should be okay. It was one of many great songs that were huge chart toppers back in 1980 from the Xanadu soundtrack, Olivia Newton-John, on Music Radio, Totally 70s.
The best music. Totally 70s.
And according to Jack George, he said, I played the wrong Xanadu. I know what you're thinking.
You played the wrong Xanadu.
All right, go ahead. Give it to me good now. Why did I play the wrong one?
The Rush Xanadu. It's a lot better than that piece of crap we just heard, and the movie sucked even more.
Listen to me. No. The soundtrack was good with ELO and Olivia. That was okay. It was fine. Listen, here's the problem. The problem is that I didn't want to spoil the Rush thing because tonight on the Spotlight, we've got one of Rush's albums, so we'll be featuring a song off one of Rush's albums, too.
Dear God.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I haven't quite figured that out yet. I mean, I cleaned a Rush album, and I have it here in the stack, and it sounds really good. So, with your permission, I'd like to put it into commission tonight.
It's your station and show. You don't have to worry about me.
It is, but I mean, hey, listen, you're a part.
Rush album.
You're a part of it, though, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So
hey, look, I'm looking forward to the Rush pinball coming out.
I know.
In a couple of weeks.
I heard about it.
I'm going to be plunking quarters.
Listen, it's probably not a quarter. It's probably $1 now, right?
Yeah, they take dollar bills.
Take dollars. Yep. Yeah, I figured as much. So let me get this straight. You were in the Poughkeepsie area, and you didn't even think to call the radio station and stop over here tonight.
No.
Okay. Okay. All right. Just didn't think to do it. It's Friday.
I didn't think. I was like, let me get here. I cheated. I taped 2 shows. Let me get out so I can get back home. Mm-hmm. So there's no whatever. I love that they name these storms now. So this one's called Winter Storm Keenan.
Keenan?
Keenan.
Like Keenan?
K-E-N-A-N.
Oh, okay. Because
I understand hurricanes and typhoons.
Cool.
But nor'easters?
Cool. Yeah, nor'easter named Keenan. All right, great.
Yeah.
What's the next one going to be named? Buckwheat? Probably.
Omicron. Oh, that's taken already.
Oh, Hurricane Stymie, right? Hurricane Stymie. There you go. All right. It backs you into a corner. It's Hurricane Stymie. All right. And if it's a girl, it'll be Hurricane Farina. There you go. Perfect.
Farina,
yeah, Hurricane Farina. So, Jack, listen, we are up to the letter Y right now. We've got 2 left. We've got Y and we've got Z. Pixie already figured out what Z is going to be. Can you figure out what Y is going to be? Give it a try.
YYZ by Rush? Oh.
There you go again. It's Rush on the brain for Mr. Jack. Gotcha.
Thank you. How about Young Americans?
Well, it could have been, it would have been, but unfortunately it is not. It is actually a song called You'll Never Find Another Love Like Mine.
Great new roll.
And we're going to be playing it now, and stick around, because coming up right after Z by David Bowie, we get into the albums tonight. And you want to call me back and get a Rush record on, okay?
No, I'm going to go to sleep and listen.
Oh, now you'll be here. Come on now.
You'll never find
Music Radio, Totally 70s, America's #1 choice. The summer of 1976. We were cruising the strip at Misquamicut Beach in Rhode Island, and that song was all over the radio dial back in that day right there. Lou Rawls, and You'll Never Find Another Love Like Mine. As we get into Y's, we are down to Z, and that means you and me and the rest of the gang can actually enjoy David Bowie. And we're going to jump right into the weeknight spotlight immediately following this record. You're going to want to stick around for that. Whole bunch of great vinyl. Here's Ziggy Stardust at 70s.
Welcome to the Weeknight Spotlight, where we feature all sorts of special events in music history. Now, here's Mr. 70s to tell you more about what's in tonight's Spotlight.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we've got all your favorite albums from way back when, the 60s, the 70s, and 80s. These are the albums that you went out and bought back when they were brand new, and probably sometime around the mid-80s. If you had any of those old LPs laying around, you probably thought, yeah, I don't have a turntable anymore. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of these albums. But some of us people decided that we weren't going to take that thing lying down, like myself, DJ Plasma, of course, Don Edwards, Glenn Mason, just to name a few, Jim Kay, the Big Tuna. We all went vinyl crazy during that time period. We visited as many record stores as we possibly could, and we bought up all the closeouts for $2.99, $1, believe it or not, even sometimes 50 cents. Then I went out and I spent $300 on a VPI record cleaning machine, and the rest is music history. Thank you, Hazel, for your cooperation today. I spent most of my morning getting this weeknight spotlight prepared. I am only hoping it is going to sound as good in my headphones as it does in your speakers or your headset as well. It is album rock of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. It's the weeknight spotlight. We're kicking it off a little bit early to fit in a few more songs. And right now we got music from Aerosmith in Sweet Emotion. Kicks off tonight's weeknight spotlight here on your 70s station. It's the greatest album rock of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. It's all vinyl, probably right up until 1 a.m. You are tuned in and turned on to America's number one choice. You got the Totally 70s Radio Network. Toys in the Attic was the LP, of course. Aerosmith and Sweet Emotion. Now, there's no alphabetical order going on, so don't get nervous. But ladies and gentlemen, just by the slight chance of coincidence, here's Boston on Totally 70s.
If I said what's on my mind, you turn and walk away.
Music Radio. Totally 70s. I had to kind of slide into that one right there. I wanted to check it out right till the very last note. Rich Rhodes, hello, how are you? It's album rock of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. You knew that because you read my post, didn't you? But it's great to have you along. It's 11:34 here at Totally 70s, and it's some great album rock on some great vinyl. And Patrick, believe me, when I put this thing together, thank you for all you do with American Top 40 on Sunday afternoons at 3 here at Totally 70s. I did not forget about you or the Beatles. This one is for you.
Once there was a way to get back homeward.
Music Radio, Totally 70s, America's number one choice. If anybody ever asks you what is Mr. 70's two most favorite Beatles albums, you tell them Abbey Road and the White Album. Those would be the two. We're taking you all the way back to the days when I had stacks of albums and stacks of 8-track tapes. And, you know, back in the day, and I know Pixie and a couple of others can really relate to this, when we went out and bought an album, we went out and bought an 8-track tape. It wasn't like we just played the hits that were on it. We just played the entire thing from cover to cover and over and over. So a lot of these songs that we're featuring tonight maybe didn't even necessarily chart, but if you were an album buff back in the 70s and 80s, I assure you, you didn't miss any of these songs. Back in 1976, the Electric Light Orchestra released an album entitled A New World Record. The song Telephone Line was on there. The song Do Ya was on there. And of course, if you listen to it, it pretty much had a lot of the songs blended together. So tonight, as a Totally 70s exclusive, we are actually going to do a double shot of Jeff Lynne's Electric Light Orchestra without even having to mix the song, because they did a fine job of doing it themselves. As our album rock of the 60s, 70s, and 80s continues, here's the Electric Light Orchestra.
You're inside the Weeknight Spotlight. This is Flashback with Mr. 70s.
Music Radio, Totally 70s. You know, remind me to give Hazel, our record cleaning machine, a brand new pair of pantyhose. She did a fabulous job cleaning these records. Hi, Rich. How are you?
Good. How about yourself, buddy?
Not bad, not bad. How's work going? All right?
Oh, just busy as heck, as always.
I know. Listen, I had a chance to read the posts, and they sounds like they got you all over the place now.
Yeah. I'm doing a couple other properties.
Cool. All right, cool.
Yeah, actually about 4 or 5 new ones.
Now, you're probably smack dab in the middle of this cold front that's been going on from Florida all the way up the coast, right?
Yeah, we got about 30-degree weather here.
Wow. And that's cold for you guys, right?
Yeah. I'd cover my plants all up.
Gotcha. Your plants are all dying?
No, I cover them up.
Oh, you do? Okay. Yeah, I have mine inside, so believe me, if I put my plants outside, they'd be dead within 10 seconds.
Oh, I know. You're supposed to get a bunch of snow, too.
Well, there's a coastal storm coming up. According to the National Weather Service, we're probably going to see 6 to 8 inches, but nothing compared to what New York City, Long Island, Connecticut, the Connecticut coastal areas, and, of course, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, all the way up to Maine.
I know Boston's supposed to get up to 2 to 3 feet.
Yeah, they're gonna get walloped, and the winds are what's going to make it tough, Rich, because not only it's going to be blizzard-like conditions, which means with all that snow, there could be power outages. There just could be a lot going on,
Yeah, definitely. How's Donna doing?
She's good, actually. She celebrated her birthday yesterday, and yeah, it was a nice day. She woke up to having flowers delivered here, and we had a nice breakfast together. And then friends of ours decided they wanted to go out and have some dinner with us, so we went out and did that. Tried a brand new restaurant, which actually wasn't half bad, for our first time going there. And originally, she was going to come home and do a radio show. And on our way back from the restaurant, she says, Paul, it's freezing cold. I'm tired. I think I just want to go home and relax. And I said, you know what? It's your day. You do whatever you want to do. So she came home. We relaxed a little bit, and that was kind of the end of her day. But she had a good time. We were going to go have cake over at Dougie's, but Dougie's a little under the weather. He's got a cold going on. So yeah.
Yeah, don't have Donna around that.
No, she'll be okay. She's a tough old bird. But you know what? I still don't. I'm the one, really, believe it or not, who does not want anybody's germs right now. So
yeah, I know what that is, man. I'm trying to keep away from people too. The only time I wear a mask is when I'm inside someone's apartment.
Yeah, or if you walk into a room and somebody stinks, then you can put it on. You have a legitimate reason to, because you get that occasional time when you walk into a place, if you're in the waiting room of some place, or you're walking in close quarters, and all of a sudden you realize that the person standing next to you didn't use a bar of soap that morning, and you say, you know what, I think now's a good time. I'm going to put my mask on, and I'm not going to offend anybody, because that's really what I'm supposed to be doing right now. So.
I don't believe any of that shit.
Of course. You know what? Listen. You're on the right team here, so you don't have to worry about that, brother. Believe me. You don't have to worry. You're on the right team here. Now, listen, 80s Hit Machines coming our way tomorrow night, and and I hope you're all geared up for it. I hope you got a lot going on. I'll be around, because as I said, I'll probably be snowed in over here a little bit anyway. Won't be going anywhere. And looking forward to your show, Rich. And what do you think of the vinyl so far tonight?
Vinyl sounds excellent.
Unbelievable. I love it.
Sounds great.
I do.
Sounds great. It don't even sound. It's so clear. I love it.
You know what? That's the whole entire idea. If you can get the right quality of vinyl and you can get it set up just right, you can really get an exceptionally good sound out of it. But I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a bitch to do. It really is.
A lot of it is keeping the albums clean. A lot of people don't. And they keep playing them with the dirt on it, and it puts scratches on it.
I'll tell you something. If you saw what my records look like from when I was a kid, right up until my high school days, I tell everybody I never took care of a record in my life. What I started to do, and Mark 1956 knows this, I started building another record collection when Donna and I first started dating around 1985, 1986. I was going all the closeouts and buying up records. And Mark turned around one day and he shook his head at me and he goes, "What took me all my life to build, Paul, you did it in a couple of years." He couldn't believe it. And to this day, we still have every piece of vinyl we ever went out and bought together. So.
Yep, definitely.
So
it sounds great, man.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Rich, I'm looking forward to your show tomorrow. I got more classic vinyl coming up, and if there's anything I can do for you, just simply let me know, okay?
Sounds great, man. I hope I'll see everybody there tomorrow night.
All right, sounds good. It's 11:53 at Totally 70s. Album rock of the 60s, 70s, and 80s continues. And over here on turntable number 2, the Eagles' greatest hits album. Here's Witchy Woman inside another long set of your favorite songs, back to back, here on your 70s station. Music Radio, Totally 70s. You know, I spoke to Plasma a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about vinyl, and I said, you know, playing songs here at 70s is an absolute pleasure. But when you get into the vinyl side of it, it becomes an entire experience. I hope you are witnessing the same experience I am tonight, because I don't know about you, man, but it sounds pretty damn good in these headphones right here. Oh, yes, we've got at least another 45 minutes or a solid hour of album power coming your way with Fleetwood Mac next on 70s.
More music. Totally 70s. New York.
Was the number one selling LP right up until 1983, when Michael Jackson's Thriller knocked it out of first place. From around 77 to 1983, not a bad run being the number one selling album in America. Fleetwood Mac, Rumors, and of course the number one hit on that LP called Dreams. But let me tell you, the entire album from end to end is certified gold platinum. Every song a great song. It's album rock of the 60s, 70s, and 80s with your host, yours truly, Mr. 70s. And over here on turntable number one, although you cannot see it right now, it is Peter Gabriel. Music Radio, Totally 70s, America's number one choice. Peter Gabriel and Games Without Frontiers. It's 11 minutes after midnight. We are rolling through the album rock of the 60s, 70s, and 80s weeknight spotlight. Plasma, glad you could join us for a little while here. And once again, our condolences to your furry little pet there. That just really does break my heart, man. It's tough. But hope you're doing okay. Hope your wife is doing okay. And hopefully, if all is well, you'll be on the air tonight with more great vinyl. Matter of fact, you're usually the vinyl king when I get off the air. I mean, every time I turn around as I'm watching your show, you're throwing one record on after another after another. This is the night when turntable number one and turntable number two have a perfect balance of vinyl tonight here at Totally 70s. As our weeknight spotlight continues, unfortunately, I did not have the pressing of this LP and or this artist, but you know what? I figure this one is probably just as good. From the Vision Quest soundtrack, here's Red Rider as our album rock weeknight spotlight continues here on 70s. Music Radio, Totally 70s, America's number one choice. Red Rider, the song Lunatic Fringe, featured on the Vision Quest soundtrack. That is the only copy that I had on vinyl, but hey, it sounded real good. It's 16 minutes after midnight here at Totally 70s. Glad to see you're all hanging out tonight for the long haul. We got lots of great vinyl coming up, and of course, I do believe Plasma After Dark will be doing his thing a little bit later on, and he'll probably continue with some great vinyl and some other great stuff too, I'm sure. Anyway, thanks for joining us tonight. And, you know, when we said we were going to feature everything from Fleetwood Mac to Jefferson Starship to Led Zeppelin and beyond, I'm only hoping and praying that when I made that mention, I also included Pink Floyd. From Dark Side of the Moon, here's Time at Totally 70s.
Calls the faithful to their knees, hear the softly spoken magic spell.
Music Radio, Totally 70s, America's number one choice on a very special album rock of the 60s, 70s, and 80s spotlight. I know what you're thinking, Tangway. Sounds a lot like Rock 102 back in the day. It's 12:24 here at Totally 70s. Normally, we'd finish up the spotlight at around 12:30. But you know what? I'm just going to keep this thing rolling. I still got a lot of albums here I'd like to get to. And as long as there's no objections, I think we're going to be okay here for a little while longer. Some great vinyl and some great sounding stuff right here. And I believe that Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers are here to play now as our spotlight continues here at 70s. The LP was entitled Damn the Torpedoes back in the tail end of 1979 and early 1980. It's Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and Here Comes My Girl. It's 12:28 here at Music Radio. It's Totally 70s. We are, and always will be, America's number one choice for better music on the World Wide Web. Oh, baby, baby. Album rock of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. From 79, here's Led Zeppelin.
America's #1 choice for better music on the World Wide Web. The Totally 70s Radio Network.
This is David Bowie. This is Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. This is Lionel Richie.
Flashback.
Totally 70s.
Oh, yes, there's always a better song right here on Music Radio, Totally 70s. What's your name? Mine is Mr. 70s, Paul DeMarco, and you are listening to the album rock of the 60s, 70s, and 80s Weeknight Spotlight. And no, you're not seeing things. There it is, the original pressing of Lynyrd Skynyrd's Street Survivors, where after the plane crash had taken place, they removed the flames. And not only that, but if you take a close look at the vinyl itself, the record label changed to a blue color when they had actually taken the flames off the cover and just made it a black background. But there it is right there, the original pressing of Lynyrd Skynyrd's Street Survivors, and not a bad sounding piece of vinyl for its age either. Of course, with a little help from Hazel, we got it to sound really nice on our very special Album Rock Weeknight Spotlight. It's 12:39 here at Totally 70s. Do I have more? Do I ever? I've got some more here. Matter of fact, over here on turntable number 1, and that's the turntable that you all have a tough time seeing, is Foreigner's album, Double Vision. Now, when I made a mention earlier about how when I would go out and buy an album, you pretty much would play just about every song on it. And although some songs charted and made it really big to the radio, that didn't necessarily mean that the other songs on the album weren't good either. I know I had a conversation with Lisa the Rock and Roll Angel a while back, and she said even when she went out and bought her 45s, she would always play the daylights out of the B-side, and a lot of times there was some really good stuff that we all missed. Well, as an album extra, we've got a song here from Foreigner off Double Vision that really didn't chart or do anything, but if you listen to the album from cover to cover, you definitely did not miss this one.
I never knew a man could be so lonely.
And there you have it, an album extra from the Double Vision album, Foreigner, and You're All I Am, right here on America's #1. You know, it reminds me when we just talked a couple of minutes ago about listening to all the songs on an album. In an interview with our voiceover guy, Craig Roberts, who's been in top 40 radio since the 60s. This is an older guy. I mean, I would say Craig is probably in his late 60s, pushing 70, if not 70 by now. And he does a lot of our voiceover work here at 70s. He still does. And I can remember in an interview him saying, I don't think I have ever listened to an entire album of music in my life. I've always been the one that has gone over and played the hits, and pretty much that was it. You know, back in the day when he worked for AM Top 40, I guess that was the way to be. But you know what? I got to tell you, he sure missed out on an awful lot when it comes to great music. It's 12:44 at Totally 70s, and believe it or not only did this get the Hazel wash and wax, I actually went in for a second time. So anything you hear on this next vinyl LP, I can assure you, it's in the vinyl itself. From Days of Future Past, here's the Moody Blues and Nights in White Satin on the Totally 70s Radio Network. You know, Plasma, if that album is not an experience, I don't know what in the hell is. Days of Future Past is the name of the album. Nights in White Satin, the Moody Blues, on a very special Album Rock Weeknight Spotlight right here on America's #1 choice. It's the Totally 70s Radio Network. I can probably squeeze in 2 more songs before I make way for Plasma. So at this time, ladies and gentlemen, I will just shut up and play the record.
Jesse rides through the night under the main street light, riding slow
Good to the last note right there. Steve Perry and Journey and Still They Ride right here on America's number one. It's Totally 70s. Well, that's going to do it for me, but hey, there's lots more to be had here at Totally 70s, so gang, do stick around. I do believe Mr. Plasma will be coming up shortly on most of these Totally 70s radio stations. Want to thank you all for the pleasure of your company, and hey, without you, there would be no us. So thank you again for making us America's number one choice and the most listened to radio station on Vaughn Live Television. I wouldn't make that up. I'm telling you the truth. Anyway, gang, it's been real. It's been wonderful. We'll catch you at Monday Night Love with Mrs. 70s coming up this Monday. And hey, I'm going to stick around and listen to some Plasma as well. Have a great night. Love somebody. We'll catch you again real soon. This is and always will be America's number one, the Totally 70s Radio Network. Good night, everyone.
Uh-oh, the cuckoo kids. That means it's time to go.
Goodbye and stay happy. Your station.